Sorry, I got to make sure all of my bells and whistles and buttons are working correctly. Just bear with me for a second. All right, well, welcome everybody to today's art business webinar. My name is Patrick. I run the marketing department here, and I've been doing that for years and years and years. We can quickly get into the agenda for today's session. So you guys have all somehow got drawn into our ecosystem, and really you're wondering who we are, what we do we know what we're talking about, and can we actually help you with your art photography careers? So those are all good and valid questions. We love having these sessions as a way to kind of get to know us, get to know the way that we think, what we like to prioritize, and then of course give you guys the opportunity to ask questions and ask questions directly, which is always really, really helpful in today's digital world that we live in. So that will be the agenda for today. So there's obviously been some good reports relative to the Q4 Black Friday, Cyber Monday holiday buying season retail data. We can get into some of that. But what I'm going to do up front is I'm going to play a video I recorded on one of these sessions a couple of weeks ago, or probably a month ago now. And it does a really good job at a high level explaining how to best think about these last 3 months of the year, how to best think about the holiday buying season, how to best get yourself in shape to be able to take advantage of it and do the best that you can with your business. As it's rolling along, you'll notice that there is a chat on the bottom of your Zoom window somewhere hiding in the buttons. They're constantly updating this thing. And so if you have questions, you can throw them in. I'm going to mention a whole bunch of things, videos and articles and PDFs and podcasts and this and that. Don't feel like you have to write any of that stuff down, because what I'm going to do once this session ends, when we get to the end of it, is I'm going to send you a recording of the entire video should you want to go back. And then I'm going to send you the links to all the things that I've mentioned, so you can just pop right in and access quite literally any of them. So that will be the agenda. I think the video goes for like 20 minutes, and then I will come right back for the Q&A. And I'm also joined by one of my customers today, and Andrea Cross. You can see her in her little Zoom window down there. So if you want to ask questions directly to a customer and not me, the corporate mouthpiece, you can of course do that as well. But it should be good. I'm enjoying it. I will get this thing queued up, and then we'll be in the chat answering questions, and then we will see you on the back end of it for the live Q&A, which I'm really excited to get into. But let me just get this thing in the right place so you don't have to waste any of your precious time. All right. So that's good news. That means I can pour a ton of energy into all of you guys. We got Mark McClanahan on here, and my last name's Patrick Shanahan. He and I are clearly related back in the old country somewhere, which is hilarious. Yeah, well, I'm really excited that you guys are all here. And despite the small group today, I will change absolutely nothing with the presentation. I will just get to pour more energy into you guys, your comments, your questions, your concerns. I call this thing the Q4 boot camp because Q4 is coming, but I want to rant about something else because it's top of mind and it's important to me. And it's not Instagram, but we'll talk about that in a second too. Let me get off that so it's not distracting. So I should say I've been at this business for like, I don't know, 8 years, and it was in the art industry before that. And I've been running sessions like this essentially like 3 days a week since right around the time the pandemic started. So it's got to be 50,000 artists and photographers now over the course of that entire time. We have a little bit over 10,000 customers at art storefronts. I get to see all their data, not only on who's selling what prices, this, that, and the other, but also like where did their traffic come from that actually led to these sales. What I've come to realize in all of that is there's only three viable ways to make it today as an artist, photographer who wants to sell their creations. Only three. And let's talk about the three. And to give it some teeth, let's just say a successful art business. I know everyone's definition of that is a little bit different, right? But for the sake of argument, let's just say a successful art business is an art business in which you have gross sales of $100,000 a year, right? Sounds like a lofty number, fine, but let's just say that. So, okay, there's only three ways to get there. Number one way, the way that everyone on this call would prefer to do, get into a gallery where all you have to do is create and they do everything else. That sounds awesome, right? Okay, let's work those numbers through. You're in a gallery, and you're doing $100,000 a year in gross sales. The gallery takes 50%. So that means at the end of the day, you get $50,000 back. And because it's gross sales, then you have to subtract your studio, your materials, your trips, your tripods, your lenses, all of that, and maybe you're left with $35,000. Hardly a living wage. Let's make that picture a little bit rosier. And by the way, the number of artists that are in that situation that are selling $100,000 a year in a gallery is probably less than 1 or 2% of the total artists and photographers that are out there trying to sell their art in photography. Let's make that picture a little bit rosier, and let's say $300,000. Okay, let's triple it in gross sales a year in a gallery. And with the aforementioned 50% haircut, 150, okay, you're making 100 grand a year. That's fantastic. That's less than 1%, probably less than 0.2% of artists and photographers out there. So in terms of like a viable path forward, the way that I like to explain making it in a gallery is to have that level of success that way as an artist or photographer is kind of like playing a sport versus being a professional athlete. How many people do you know play a sport? How many professional athletes do you know, right? Like the odds are just not fantastic. And the real death knell to the gallery model is you guys are all going to be artists and photographers for the rest of your life. I routinely get people on these calls in their 90s still trying to sell their art, which is amazing. And you realize it's the long game. Wherever you are, you have a ton of time left, right, to do this, God willing, of course. If you don't know who's purchasing your art and you can't market to them for the rest of your life, you don't have the ability to develop collectors. Collectors are folks that will come back and keep buying from you again and again and again, year after year after year. And it's the lifeblood of any art business. In the gallery model, you don't know because the gallery doesn't tell you who purchases. It's important to state that, important to understand that. All right, let's table the gallery model for a sec. Next is to become a road warrior. A road warrior is someone that does anywhere from 25 to 45 shows a year. The fairs, the shows, the farmers markets, the thises, the that's, and you are loading that car up, setting up the booth. Sometimes it's a dud, sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's inclement weather. You're away from your family, you're 8 hours a day on your feet. It is not easy, it's hard. That being said, totally viable path to get there. If I was an artist myself and I was like looking back at my life and I wanted to give my like 20-year-old self some advice, okay, Emma, talking to you, you're the young one here, it would be like, don't have wife, don't have a significant other, don't have kids, don't have a mortgage. And if you have any of those things, it's just a generalization. You're the young one and I'm looking at you. So go and do that when you're young. Because if you can do that when you're young, when you don't have the aforementioned significant other and kids and soccer games on Saturdays and a mortgage, that's when you're the freest to be able to do that. And it's totally a viable path. Like I've got multiple customers that are in their 50s and 60s that did it for years and years and years. One guy I think of, this guy, Bill Stidham, 175,000 miles on his van in 6 years that he just used for his art shows. I mean, he hit it hard. You know what that guy has now? Healthy 6-figure-a-year business, and he barely does any shows anymore because he built up the list. He built up a customer base. He built up collectors. The third way, okay, is what everybody really, truly has to do. It's what you want to do, which is, I know I'm not going to get into a gallery. I know I'm not doing the show and fair circuit. That's just too much. I can't be that road warrior. So I want to sell direct. I want to understand who's purchasing my work. And it's totally a viable path. It's what we advocate. Here's the rub, though. You have to market your own art. You have to market your own art. There is no one that is going to market it for you. And for some people, that is a painful thing to hear. For most artists and photographers, it's a painful thing to hear, but it's true. Anyone that's been in this business for any period of time knows that you guys are all sold a bill of goods that somehow an artist or a photographer's vocation is just to create this amazing thing and everything else just happens, and nothing could be further from the truth. You have to get good and understand that marketing yourself is just as important a job as creating what you create. And the sooner you come to terms with that, the way better your life becomes. Why? Because there's never been a better time in the history of the world to do it. Not even close. I mean, for those of us that are older and remember the days before these things existed and before social networks with hundreds of millions of people worldwide were on their phones all day long, do you know how hard it was? Do you know how much harder it was? You were geographically fixed on the planet somewhere, and that's where you started, and that's what you had. You had to grind way harder. Now, if you take your marketing vocation seriously, if you're like, I'm going to get good at this, if you realize that your art business is essentially 2 trains on 2 tracks. Train number 1, your art, your craft, your creations, your subject matter material, your brush, your lens, how good you get with all of that. That train has its own path, and it will go throughout the rest of your career. You want to get better at it. You want to make sure that train has no brakes. The other one is how good you get at marketing yourself, and you need to treat it seriously, and you need to turn it into an art form. And if you understand those 2 things, that is the path that artists and photographers get on, will become successful, will have a business that is growing year after year after year. And I really firmly do believe there's never been a better time in the history of the world to do that. But It's actually simple. Simple, not easy. Not easy in the fact that you guys have to get good at marketing. Not good that you have to take it seriously. Not good that you have to learn how to do this. And nobody likes doing it. I totally get that, okay? I mean, I run the marketing department here. Truth be told, I don't even like doing it, okay? Posting on socials on a regular basis, content marketing, right? Running sales, all the things that you have to do. But I don't know what the alternative is. I don't know what the alternative is. Because of all the tens of thousands of artists and photographers that have come through these Zoom sessions in the last 3 years, there are maybe one or two that were doing great in the gallery. And I saw specifically, like right when COVID hit and all those gallery people got closed up, those people were flooding into these Zooms going, what do I do? I've got nothing. My income's done, right? It was terrifying. The road warriors are the road warriors. And then there's nothing else. You know, there's nothing else. Like I've had like 6 people tell me they make more $10,000 a year on Saatchi, Fine Art America, Redbubble. I've had a couple of people on Etsy that are doing like $20,000 or $30,000 a year, but I haven't heard anyone else. So when you realize those odds, and please don't take it cynically, like this is only going to happen for you if you sign up at art storefronts. I don't care where you sign up or what you do, but I do care that if you want to take this business seriously and you want to see it growing year after year, it's the 2 trains, 2 tracks, no brakes. 2 trains, 2 tracks, no brakes. Okay. Now that rant is over with, I call this thing a Q Thorpe boot camp, and I love the marathon analogy, all right? I hate running. I will never sign up for a marathon in my life. But I know some people that have, and there's one thing that you notice about those people that sign up for the marathon. As soon as you fill out that form for that miserable activity, your whole life changes. Why? You know the pain is coming. You start eating a little bit better. You start training and taking your exercising more seriously. You start getting better sleep. If it's me, you work on that drinking habit that you have, right? All of these things in your life, you start taking more seriously. And my contention, having been in this business for close to 10 years now, and having seen what goes on in Q4 the last 3 months of the year, it's a marathon that you're signed up for, whether you know it or not. And the training that you do between now and then, between the fourth quarter, the buying season, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the roll up to Christmas, all of those sales that are in the water, all throughout that. More art, more photography is sold in the fourth quarter than the other 3 quarters combined almost sometimes. Like our customers that do it well have a good year based on what that fourth quarter is. And so my contention is that you're signed up for that marathon whether you know it or not. And the question is, what are you going to start doing between now and then? What are you going to start doing between now and then to get ready? Because if it's wait until things start getting colder, kids are back at school, you're running around like a crazy person, next thing you know, it's Thanksgiving. I got to have a sale. And then you post something on Facebook and send an email to 6 people. Not going to be good. Not going to be good, right? So we need to start training now, right? We need to start getting our businesses in order now. And there's a number of different ways that you can approach that and that you can contemplate it. But step 1 in all of it is have it in the back of your head. It's coming. What you do between now and then is going to dictate the level of success that you have, and it is the most important time of the year to be selling. Without question, not even close. And you have to have your art up on the website. You have to start working on an email list. You have to start marketing regularly and consistently on the social media platforms. If you do that now, you're gonna wake up come October and you're gonna be like, oh, got a little momentum in my back. Things actually look pretty good here. People actually know who I am, and I have the ability to market and run some sales when Black Friday and Cyber Monday comes along. So very, very important to understand that happens every single solitary year. Every year it is absolutely fantastic in terms of sales, in terms of art and photography. So all very, very important. Pricing is another big one. And pricing is one of my favorite topics in this business period, right? And do you know what I love more than anything else? All the bullshit advice that's out there based on pricing. Here's the formula that you use for pricing. It's material cost times square inch times media times your time. Yeah, okay, great. Thanks for that. Magic, really. The only thing that matters is whether or not the art sells. There is no magical formula that's going to help you price your art if the art doesn't sell, which is why all of those formulas are nonsense. Pricing is quite simply this. And it's awesome and it's freeing. And once you do it and once you realize this lesson, and I have like a really in-depth article on this and I'm going to send it to all of you, you, creative types, need to have prices from 0 to 100. You need to have prices from 100 to 1,000. You need to have prices over 1,000. and you need to have one thing in the shop that is obscenely expensive. Okay? And let me break that all down with some real numbers. The 0 to 100 is really, really easy, especially if you're reproducing your artwork in terms of prints. But you also have to have non-wall art as a part of your lineup. Okay? It can't just be wall art. And the reason is that not everybody is ready to buy wall art all the time. And so you're out there, you're doing your marketing, you're getting your art, your photography in front of people, and they're like, wow, I really like this person. I really like their creativity. Problem, I'm not in the market for art right now. I want to reward this person for their talent, but I'm not in the market for art right now. If only they had something that was non-wall art related. Oh, they don't. Tell you what, I'll make a mental note to come back here. I'm going to go watch some cat videos, and you know what the masks do there, right? They're not coming back. They're never coming back. So the importance of having the non-wall art is so critical. No one talks about this enough. A business, specifically your guys' businesses, can be judged how well they are growing on one metric and one metric alone: the number of new customers you are acquiring per year. The number of new customers you are acquiring per year. Why? Why? Because the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. It is significantly easier to get somebody to come back and purchase a second time than it is to go out and find a new person and have them purchase for the first time. And this is just a fundamental rule of most businesses, but specifically this business. And I alluded earlier to how important it is to not sell in galleries so that you know who is purchasing your work. There is a phenomenon in here. I stole it from this guy, so I always give him credit. Hold on, I'm going to grab his book. I stole this from Weiland, okay? Weiland is the whale guy. Most would say the best-selling artist in the United States. By the way, this book, fire, okay? Insane, amazing. You need to go buy it. Honestly, I should be on commission for this. In fact, he's got a gallery close to where I live. I'm going to go in there and get it. Short, sweet, no fluff. I'm sorry, here it is. But the rub is it's not on Amazon. I think he donates 100% of the proceeds to charity, so you have to buy it from his website. But honestly, Google this book and buy this book. Weiland defines a collector as someone that will purchase in upwards of 7+ pieces of art from him over the course of a lifetime. And this is a phenomenon I see played out continually with my own customer base. But when you have collectors, it's a phenomenon of this business, right? Like there's certain product categories that have collectors, right? If you ask my 7-year-old kid, it's those damn Pokemon cards. They're all over my floor right now. You guys would laugh if you saw these. But shoes, cars, wristwatches, art is one of them. And it's a fantastic thing because you will keep creating throughout the course of your life. And these collectors will just go along for the ride. You keep raising prices, they keep coming and buying and buying and buying. Oh, that's awesome. Emma just said that book is on Spotify for free. I did not know that. Definitely listen to it. You want to highlight it, though. I'm not kidding. Great book. Where was I going with all that? So if we know the most important thing an art business can have as a collector, and then we know in order for a collector to become a collector, they first have to purchase something, that underscores how important it is to have non-wall art as a part of the lineup, okay? That's the 0 to 100 range. Also in there, you obviously have small prints. And then let's say you're 100 to 1,000, you get into some bigger size prints, right? Your metals, your canvas, your acrylic, you go through that 0 to 1,000 range, and maybe close to the 1,000 range, you're in limited editions, and then above that, you have your originals. Everyone has to adjust it a little bit to taste. But you also need something obscenely expensive in the store. And let's say that you sell your originals, just to keep the math simple, at like $1,000. I want one in there for 10 grand. And why? Why one in there for 10 grand? That's crazy. I'm never going to sell that thing. I don't even care if you don't ever sell that thing. You ever been to a car dealership? And you know, in the car dealership, that the big glass box in the middle, I know the car dealership is a miserable feeling in most people's heads because you have to deal with the salespeople. But anyway, the big glass box in the middle, right? Let's say we're at the Toyota dealership. In that big glass box in the middle is the Toyota Supra carbon fiber TRD whatever. It's $275,000, right? There's a reason that they put those cars inside the glass box, and it's because human beings are wired to make purchase decisions based on comparison. We anchor onto certain things to compare to other certain things. And so when we go and look at that $250,000 Supra or the $150,000 Land Cruiser that's inside the glass box, we anchor onto that price point, and it makes us feel just that much better about buying the $60,000 Highlander, right? That's on the outside. And that's a phenomenon called price anchoring. And It's just one of these psychological things that's really, really, really important to do. You feel better knowing that I didn't buy the most expensive thing. It makes you feel a little bit better. That's why you put that high-priced item in there. Also, everyone's followers, yours, mine, any business, that all fall into a thing that I call the socioeconomic bell curve, okay? It's your typical bell curve, exactly what you'd expect. And down at the low end of it, you have the low socioeconomic status. Those people can't afford anything. They'll like, comment, share on your post. They're still good people. Then you have lower income folks, middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals, the bell curve, right? You know, what does everyone always say to me all the time? Yeah, I just want to target high net worth buyers. Yeah, good. That's great. You and every other business on the planet, aside from the 99-cent store, wants to target the high net worth buyers, okay? That is why it's insanely difficult to do that. But the point is, you need to have this range of pricing that I'm discussing to be able to cover all of the spots on that bell curve. Because what happens when you do that is you acquire the highest number of customers possible. And the beautiful thing about acquiring the highest number of customers possible is you can market to these folks in the future. The bell curve is not a fixed entity. Your buyers and potential buyers are going up and down that bell curve their entire lives. The one that's living in their mother's basement right now is buying their new house 2 years from now. And you got that sale. Do you want to know why you got that sale? Because you sold them a mug or a mouse pad or a calendar or a whatever, and it sat on their fridge. It could be a sticker, okay, that's on my garage fridge with all the rest of the stickers. And every time I go out to get a beer, which is an enjoyable experience for me, I look at your art, okay? Now I've moved out of my mother's basement and I'm going to go buy a house, and you got that sale. And that's how it works. And I get a lot of pushback on the merch, okay? I'm a fine artist, Patrick. I would never sell that merch, that cheap tchotchke crap. I'm not doing that. To which I respond, let me know the last time any of you went to a museum that didn't have a gift shop. I'll wait, okay? If Van Gogh's Starry Night is on the wall, and you can also buy a Starry Night poster in the gift shop for $22 plus tax, I'm pretty sure Van Gogh's not losing any sleep over it. Technically, he's really asleep. He's dead. But you get the point, okay? You get the point. You ever been to a concert that hasn't had merch? I don't think so, okay? The Rolling Stones, take your pick, okay? Merch is very, very important in the simple lens that you acquire more customers as a result of it. So having that price range is huge. What is one of the most defeating things that happens to artists and photographers out there? You worked hours on a piece. I mean, hours. It took so much time. You're going to sell this thing for $800, and what happens? Someone's like, yeah, that's beautiful. Would you take $25 for it? Oh, you're just deflated, right? Like this person is just, I mean, it's like a troll on social media. I mean, they have just ruined your entire day. The beautiful thing is, when you have the range of pricing, it doesn't happen as much. It almost doesn't happen at all. Because people understand, they have a context of where things are in your lineup. Oh, this is $100 and under. Oh, this is $100 to $1,000. Oh, this is over $1,000. Oh, that's the $5,000 piece. And what's more, when you get those folks who don't know any better, okay? Most of them are not yet people. They just don't know any better. You can be like, oh, that's fantastic. I love that you have the interest. That one costs quite a bit more, but let me show you what is in your range. And then we gently guide them to where we are in our range. Do you know how much better that is for your self-esteem? Okay, let me tell you, significantly better. It is significantly better for your self-esteem. You are going to be a happier and better functioning member of society, okay? Your significant other is like, this is awesome. Why are you in such a good mood? It's because you have the range of pricing. Very, very important. That's pricing. I'm going to send you a follow-up article on it after this whole thing's over. In addition to the pricing, the next thing I want to talk about is Instagram. Most important social network for artists and photographers. It's not even close. Secondarily, it's Facebook. Okay, have to be working on both of them. Well, Patrick, what about TikTok, or what about Pinterest, or what about SEO? Yeah, what about shiny objects that are not going to move your business anywhere and are going to put you on the road to a hobby? All right, that's what all the rest are. I don't care what anyone else says, anyone's friends, anyone. No one is selling art on any of the rest of those things, okay? They are lying to you if they're saying they are. It's nonsense. I've looked at way too much data. Aside from onesies, twosies here with weird circumstances, the two most important places that you need to be are Instagram and secondarily Facebook. And thank God for that. Okay, don't talk to me about TikTok. I will kick you right out of this Zoom. You are lying to yourself, okay? Stupid Chinese app, communist app that is just trying to flood you with an endorphin hit. You got 10,000 views. You didn't get 10,000 views. You got 100 views from people that are never going to buy your work, okay? So when we stay focused on the only two platforms that matter, to the detriment of wasting time on any of the rest of those ones. I don't care. I don't care. Just stay out of there. Stay in my lane. Facebook and Instagram, Instagram and Facebook. You will end up winning. And why is Instagram the most important? What do you guys create? You create visual creations. What is Instagram? A giant visual search engine. Imagine that. Lines up pretty nicely, right? The beautiful thing is that Instagram has become, over the years, evolved into the credit check for artists and photographers. What do I mean by that? I'm going to buy something. I saw something. My neighbor had something. It's really important for me to keep up with the Jones. I'm going to go look at what he got. And what am I doing? I'm going instantaneously to Amazon. I'm going to read the reviews. Was that thing good? Is there a better one? Maybe there's a better one. Maybe I can one-up this guy because I got to keep up with the Jones. Now, we check Amazon is a way of getting credit checks, like getting the reviews of what something is, right? So you could say Consumer Reports or some of the other sites too. For artists and photographers, it's like, hey, I just saw this. I'm at your friend's house. You sold some art to your friend. I saw that. That's a great piece. Who did that? Oh, yeah, it's my buddy. It's my cousin, Mark McClanahan over there. And you should check him out. You know what they're going to do? They're going to pull out Instagram, and they're going to look for you, and they're going to look at your profile, and are they going to say, is this an artist that's doing anything? Is this an artist that's putting out content regularly? Are they on the up and up? Do they have 2 followers or 2,000 followers, right? And it's very, very important to understand, one, that Instagram offers a credit check, okay? So fundamentally, it's important just for that matter. 2, secondarily, and I should also say, like, you know, the data in this industry is so utterly, totally, completely opaque, right? Like, there's so much nonsense out there, it's mind-boggling. But there's 2 outfits that report on the super high end of the art market. One's the Hiscox Group, it's an insurance entity out of London, and the other is Art Basel teams up with UBS Payne Weber, I think. I think that's who it is. The 2 of them put out a report, and what they do is they survey every year all of the folks that are essentially buying $100,000 pieces and up. And every single solitary year, I've watched the results of those reports when it comes out, and every year it ticks up. Did you follow and or consume content from an artist on Instagram? Was Instagram influential in your buying decision? And in both cases, both of their surveys, like, those percentages are really pretty high. So it's significant in its ability to help you guys sell art. The top-end, high-end buyers are all there, okay? So that makes it very important as well. The beautiful thing about Instagram is you can reach a ton of buyers. The terrible thing about Instagram is you have to post frequently on it for years to really make a huge dent. So, yeah, 1, you got to get started. 2, you have to understand you're going to suffer in the short term because it's not easy, and you have to learn how to do it, and you have to learn how to enjoy it and get good at it. And we can talk about that in depth. I have a ton of teaching on Instagram. But the beautiful thing that exists currently on Instagram, and I love this. Okay, we're going to have to do a little social media history lesson. But Facebook emerged. Facebook pretty much became a monopoly. Okay, power was unchecked. Then a new rising competitor came along, and Facebook is like, uh-oh, we can't have any competition. It was Instagram. We're going to go buy those folks. So they bought them. Okay, great. Now Facebook's even more powerful. It's Facebook and Instagram. I'm streaming on their platform while I'm saying this, so I get banned. You guys will know why. Zuckerberg kicks my door, and you'll know why. So now they own these 2 platforms. So the playbook was, we are a monopoly. If any competitors come along, we're just going to buy them. Okay. Snapchat emerges. Snapchat starts taking all of these young kids away from Facebook and Instagram. They're like, all right, what does the playbook say to do in this situation? Let me see the playbook. Mark, it says if we have a competitor, go and buy them. All right, somebody go and buy Snapchat. So they go and try and buy Snapchat. Snapchat says pound sand. Mark's like, okay, what does the playbook say now? We don't know. He goes, all right, we're just going to copy them verbatim. And so Snapchat had these things called stories that disappeared after 24 hours, and Facebook copied them verbatim. So, okay, now Snapchat peters out. I mean, who's using that? I don't know. Some kids, whatever. It's whatever. I don't want to talk about it. The next one came along. This time it was TikTok. And Mark Zuckerberg went right back to the playbook. He's like, okay, this is awesome. TikTok is starting to steal a bunch of our users. It's competition. What should I do? Let's go try and buy them. He goes and tries and buy them again. They tell him no. He said, my wife is Chinese. Let me buy you. They still said no. So the next thing they do is they're like, okay, what does the playbook say next? Copy them verbatim. And so that's what they did. And by the way, the other social players were watching, and now YouTube watched, and they're like, okay, let's copy them verbatim. So what did TikTok have? these short form little videos that were 120 seconds or less and were very compelling cell phone style video size. They copied that feature verbatim and called it Instagram Reels. YouTube saw that, copied that feature verbatim, called it YouTube Shorts. I could cycle through the 3 views of those 3 different products, and you could almost not tell the difference. They even put the buttons in the same place as copycats. Anyway, why it was a brilliant thing, TikTok coming along, is it destroyed what has been up to that point in time the social contract. What is a social contract? What do I mean by that? Hey, art store friends, work really hard on my platforms, Facebook and Instagram, and post a bunch of content. When you do, people will follow you and become fans. After you earn those followers and those fans, some small portion of what you create will be shown to those followers and fans for free. Early on in the days, it was like 90%. Recently, it's like 2 to 5%. Tiny, almost nothing, right? So that is what the social contract was. TikTok, God bless them, despite the fact that don't like the platform and think it's evil, has been still siphoning off users from Instagram at an alarming rate. It's all the younger kids and the people that are chasing likes that are not real and chasing views that are not real. It's a worthless platform. Anyway, so what they've done is they've torn up the social contract. So now where we are is we're in a scenario where you can get onto Instagram and you can have 2 followers, your significant other and your mother, okay? She likes and comments on everything. God bless you. Thank you, Mom. You can create content in the form of an Instagram reel. And an Instagram reel can potentially, if it's good, be seen by hundreds, by thousands, by even millions. In which case, you organically marketing without leaving your house, showing off your creations, understanding the platform, can get free reach. It used to be you didn't get that. And it used to be you had to pay a ton of money in terms of Facebook and Instagram ads to get that attention. Now you can do that without leaving your house, and that's an incredible, incredible thing. So it represents a huge, huge opportunity. And so that's where we stand right now as it sits in 2023. I believe Instagram is the most amazing platform that exists. But you got to get good at it, and you have to learn to like it, which in time makes it easier and easier to do. You know, one interesting thing is they're constantly changing everything all the time, okay? This notion of Reels being shown to people that doesn't follow you, some of you guys will understand that. Some of you are like, what is he talking about? Anyway, they've now moved that to posts. And so posts are equally as important as Reels on Instagram. And why it's particularly important for you guys is most of you guys don't have huge followings yet, and you have the ability to create on that platform and have people that have never met you, never seen your art wasn't liked or commented or shared to them, you know, they see it for the very first time. So that's a very, very important thing. 11 days, I think, until Black Friday, and then Cyber Monday, and then there's just the all-out blitz running till Christmas. It is the most important time of year to be selling your art, but you need to let people know that you exist, and you let them know that you're going to be having a sale, some sort of a promotion coming up. If you could just get started there, would be a huge, huge win. But let's get right into the Q&A. How does it work? If you're one of the brave ones that has your camera on, you could do the old school hand raise. If you have a question, I'll see that. I can unmute you, bring you on. For everyone else, there's this like, you know, smiley face looking thing at the bottom of your Zoom window, and it says reactions. If you click that, there's a way. God, Zoom changes everything every single solitary time I go in here. It's gone. Do you see the raise hand button? And when you get in there, Andrea, I don't even see it.
It's actually on the main page now, right beside reactions. It has its own button.
Yeah, well, lovely.
It's not under reactions anymore.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, how do you even like stay sane when every single solitary time you log in, they've changed something? I'm supposed to be a technology guy, and I can't even keep up with it. Okay, so we're gonna try and just figure out the hand raise thing. Juan is saying, "Ann, raise your hand." So I'm gonna find you first, Ann. You will be up first, and then we'll just go through one at a time. And Sharon, I see your hand. I'll get you next. And you'll need to unmute, Ann. So, yeah, you just click that little mic icon, and that usually does it.
I was just following what you said to raise your hand, and so I did. I don't know that I necessarily have a question. I'm just trying to gather things. I've seen your posts on Facebook and kind of ignored them, and then I've had a couple of shows over the last couple of weekends where they were totally dismal. And I thought, I've got to figure out a different way to market. And so I'm just trying to learn what you guys offer and that. So
Awesome. Let me
yeah,
ask you: Are you capturing emails at the shows?
I did not.
And
I
you
know.
need to stop ignoring me. Okay, I'm gonna send you. I have like a incredible. I love the in-person shows and fairs. Okay, I think they're an absolutely fantastic way to grow an art business. Juan, my colleague, just threw into the chat this article that I want you to click on. I'm going to email it to you after the fact too, so you don't feel like you need to click on it. But if others want to, it's called "The Ultimate Guide to Successful Art Shows and Fairs." There's so much tactical stuff that you have to do when you do one that will literally make the difference a lot of times, especially if it's low attendance, between being profitable and not. Big deal. So I want you to read that. Okay.
Okay.
And if you have a real question,
I can.
you let me know. Okay, Sharon, you're up.
Hi,
Hi.
thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm very new to being exposed to your site,
Okay.
and what I've taken away is there's it's a full turnkey kind of service. There's a very broad spectrum of
Yeah.
services that you can offer, and I guess my main question is, that sounds completely awesome.
Yes.
Um, but is there a way to go kind of a la carte as well?
Yeah. Yeah, there
If
is.
I have resources to do certain parts of it, I think pretty well, but would just as soon stay the heck out of other parts. Can we hire you on kind of an a la carte basis?
Yeah,
And I,
there
if I could
is.
just, one other really
Mhm.
quick thing is I'm just kind of transitioning now from my big career.
Mhm.
I've been doing art for many years, and I've sold some pieces and so on. But I mean, to maybe taking a look at doing this pretty seriously from a business perspective.
Mhm.
Do you have any kind of guideline on like inventory? Like, how much do I need? Because
Yeah. The beautiful thing about that the second question, and I'll go back to the first question. The second question, sadly, is what we call a crystal ball question,
okay,
and I've tried so hard to like benchmark things, and this business is so absolutely wild, Sharon. Like I see things on a regular basis that don't make any sense, and the one I always use is like we have this individual that has like a famous name, 1.3 million followers on Instagram, big deal. And then we've got someone that has 2,500 followers on Instagram. The 2,500 follower Instagram person outsells the other person by 100x. It's like, how the hell do you explain that, right? Like, there are so many weird variables and factors. So I bring all that up to say there's no way to like benchmark what is the right way to do it. I would say more broadly, everyone has a huge marketing problem and needs to work on that consistently. It's number one. That was clear in the video. But number two, you don't have to have inventory at all in a print on demand modality, right? Now I'm assuming you're a painter, and so you're talking about your originals, yeah. There's no hard and fast rule. You can have none, and you could sell the prints. You can take deposits on the next original. You could have a bunch of originals. Most artists have way too many originals, and they're taking up space in their storage bin or their garage or wherever else. And their significant other is like, for the love of God, will you get these things out of here? So there's that, and there's everything in between. There's no hard and fast rule. And I accidentally unmuted you, so if you have a follow-up question, you have to hit the mic icon again. There's no hard and fast rule of what you need. Aside from that pricing rant I went on, which is very, very important. So that's what I would say. In terms of a la carte, like we've been at this for close to 10 years. We are, I think, a little bit over 12,000 customers now. And sort of what we learned early in the journey is that, like, don't get me wrong, we have the best website that exists for selling art. It's not me being braggadocio. We've been at it for a long time. We're one of the few ones that only make it for selling art and photography primarily. But it's worthless. Bless you. It's worthless. A website is just a commodity. It doesn't matter. No one has a website problem. No one. It's like you could have the nicest restaurant in the world with the most beautiful decor. If no one's in the damn restaurant, what does it mean? Nothing, right? So we learned early on, like 5 years in, that if you don't solve the marketing problem, you don't have successful customers. So yes, we are this business in a box website solution that handles the print and demand and all of that awesome stuff, but really we're basically just a university that teaches advanced art and photography, business and marketing, and then a little bit of a marketing agency that does some of it for our customers. Because if you don't solve that problem, no one's business goes anywhere. Yeah. I want that background to be real because it just looks very tranquil to me. You know, I've got the doors open. I got the beautiful garden out there. It's probably too cold for most people to do that right now. Okay. If you've got another question, Sharon, just let us know. Raise your hand. Go ahead, Carla.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I am just getting started, not so much in the art, but with the whole thinking on the business.
Mhm.
So I do not have I do not have the marketing piece set up, ready
Yeah.
to roll.
Yeah.
So can you talk more about what you all offer there
Mhm.
or how that plays in? Because, obviously I'm kind of behind the eight ball in that regard, so I'd have to catch up there.
Yep. Good news is you and just about every other person on this Zoom call, and everyone, even that's been around for a long time, like, you know,
Right.
it's the one constant. Almost, it's like that term unicorn. You know, like they use it especially in like business, saying like how rare it is. You know, like
Right.
it's mythological. It's so rare, right? Like finding an artist or a photographer that is natively good at marketing and enjoys it is a unicorn scenario. It just is. Finding an
Makes
artist or
sense.
photographer
Okay.
that's natively good at it and does it consistently is like a unicorn with a mohawk, right? Like it just does
Right.
not come
Right.
along. It's like how many Elon Musks are walking around this planet, or other genies. So the point in all that is the best thing that we can do for you is make you understand that it's your biggest problem. The second best thing is we can teach you and hold your hand, and help you in some regards along the way. The third best one is to give you the perspective where early on it sucks and you have to grind and you have to learn all these things you're uncomfortable doing, but that it gets better and that you start to pick up momentum, and that once you do, because no other artists and photographers like doing this or ever do this consistently, like a year and a half, 2 years into this, you're going to be better than 95% of the artists and photographers that are on Instagram or anywhere else for that matter. So those are all the types of things that it's just what we do. We exist. When I say like we're a university, we have Zoom sessions just like this. We have 9 of them a week internally, multiple a
Wow.
day, some days, just teaching all the various different things of which all you guys need help all year long, and it never stops. And it's not just
So
the
then it
teaching.
sounds like
Yeah.
start now and build for next year.
Oh yeah, 100%. Or even better,
Right.
when's the best time to plant an oak tree, right? 30 years ago. When's the
Right.
next
Right.
best time today?
Right.
But broadly
Exactly.
speaking, what I
Got
found
to
out.
start somewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. And what I found out, so I guess probably right around the time the pandemic hit, I put the start date when Tom Hanks got it in Australia. Anyway, right about that time, we started doing these video sessions. Right.
Right.
And then slowly sort of grew up from there. So the sheer number of artists and photographers that I've talked to over the years is like staggering, right? And the crazy thing that I notice is I routinely get people in all seasons of life, including their 60s, 70s, 80s, and occasionally 90s. So you're never going to be
Wow.
able to turn it off. Like the way that you guys are
Right.
wired as creatives, it doesn't go away. The desire to make it into a business for most people doesn't go away either. And so what ends up happening is everyone treats their marketing like a New Year's resolution. This is my year. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take it seriously. I'm going to make it happen. It's going to be me. Going to the gym. She
Right.
knows. You know where it's going. Goes to the gym 4 days a week, right, in January. And then in March, poof, this is too hard. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. But again, the desire never goes away. So you got to get started on it. That's it,
Right.
Yeah.
Can I ask one more
Please.
question?
Please.
Is on a website, let's
Mhm.
say just one,
Mhm.
can you mix both photography and painting?
Oh, all day long.
Could that
all
be that
day
could
long.
go to like the different price points
Yes.
possibly?
All day
Really?
long. All day long. Yeah. It's like,
Okay.
it's kind of like I was, saying to Sharon earlier, like there's literally no roadmap that exists that works 100% of the time. Stated another way, I would go as far to say we'd probably have more customers that don't have the niche versus ones that do. Right? How hard does that fly in the face of everything? Because what does everyone think? Well, if I just get a niche, I'll have this whole thing figured out. Like,
Right.
how are you
Right.
supposed to know what your niche is? You haven't gotten the work in front of enough people to even know which one's better, right?
Kind of goes back to your price point, where the more appeal you have to the masses, the better your chance for sales.
Yeah, it's not even the masses. It's fundamentally understanding those two truths. Like one, this is a collector-driven business, and two, the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. Okay, and then three, if you really want to like throw it in there, like wall art is sort of a high friction purchase for most people. within reason. Some of the smaller pieces that are like going to go in the bathroom or somewhere, whatever. You don't have to like really, really think about that or involve your significant other. So, okay. Two artists started their journey. You did, Carla, and I did, and you just have originals starting at $2,000, and you start doing all this marketing and capturing email addresses and everything else, and every sale that you do is $2,000, right? Well, me, I'm acquiring all these customers at the low end, okay? And it's not so much the mass market. It's like it's not I could buy it on a whim. I don't need to get anyone else's sign off. It's not going to stress my bank account. And then at the end of the year, we look at our numbers, and I've made 1,500 sales, and you've made 6. So what happens is that I keep marketing consistently. In year 2, some of those people that bought the cheap stuff come back and buy again because the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. And then some of them come back again and again and again. And then I have a collector, and a collector is like the base salary of this business because it's a collector-driven business. And so you get enough of those, everything that you create gets snapped up almost immediately. And that's an insane thing. Not everything, but way more than the person that doesn't, right? And so many artists don't think that they need to behave like a business, and yet they're saying, I want to have a business. Well, if you're creating 6 to 7 customers a year because of your higher price points and not having these other options, it is pretty damn hard under the fundamental rules of business to have a business. Really hard. Really, really hard. And the way that the attention economy works and distractions, like the maths say, if they get exposed to your marketing message, they're like, Carla, I love your creativity, and then they come to you and they don't purchase anything and they leave, they're never coming back. That's what the math say, right? So
makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right, guys, who else? Questions, comments, concerns, could be anything about anything. And if you figure out the hand raise, yep, I got you, Freddie. I got to go into the grid picture to see. You'll just need to unmute, Freddie.
You
Gotcha.
there?
Yep, sure.
Hello.
How you doing?
I am awesome. A beautiful day to everybody out there.
Wonderful.
So much of what you're saying is ringing true to me. I've been doing this full time now for 5 years, and I like to look at my clients who buy multiple pieces as sort of my residual income.
Yeah.
And your collectors just rings perfectly true for me. I have about 5 retailers. Right now I'm at 3 retailers. I went up to 6 retailers, but of course, the way the world works, right?
Yeah.
I'm down to 3, but I also know that I'm my best salesman because I'm invested in it. My question for you is, I have a website now that, of course, being a creative is not my strong suit.
Yep.
And it looks like you folks are awesome at that. What happens to my old website and my old
URL, the domain name.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah,
so
and the Instagram names and all that good stuff.
Yep.
If I sign up with you folks.
Principally, this is really, really important. You guys need to own everything always. You own the URL. You own all of the contacts. You own all of the email addresses. You own all of the handles. And that's always the way that should be, right? Like you always have to own all of your home bases. And so in our case, you would go to GoDaddy. You, instead of pointing it at your current website, you would point it at our website. The current website's not doing anything for you. So I would recommend that you just cease the hosting on that. Then you point it to ours. 10 years from now, you decide you want to move somewhere else, you do the exact same thing, but everything goes with you, right? You just point it to wherever your new host is on the web, and it's really, really important. It's like one of the things that infuriates me about the gallery model, right? Because you're selling and selling and selling, and you don't ever have any damn idea who purchased your work, right? The artist has to own everything to have a long-term shot at getting those collectors, getting those residual income, right? Like, contemplate if you had 10 times the amount of collectors that you did right now in 5 years. You've got a pretty healthy little business that's humming along every year. You're going to keep creating. They're going to keep coming back. It's the only way to do it. It is the only way that you can make sure that like you're going to survive through whatever comes down the pike next. And it was terrifying in COVID. I mean, there were people that were like really high up in the art world, like making like $5 and $6 and $7 and $800,000 a year. And they're like, my gallery's not paying me anything anymore. And my work is embargoed in their help. And I'm like, uh-oh, like, what are we going to do? You don't have an Instagram account. You don't have a Facebook account. You haven't been doing anything. And you realize like, you can't You can never put all your eggs in one basket. It's dangerous. It's terrifying. You guys have got to own everything. And
I was surprised with
Yeah.
COVID because it allowed me the opportunity to stop doing my physical work, house painting, and focus solely on my art, and it really blew up.
Yeah. Yeah, because everyone was at home. It was so easy to get attention, and everyone wanted to beautify their spaces. It was like the perfect storm, you know. It was an amazing, amazing time. But if you didn't know how to reach people, you were just shouting into the abyss, right?
If I may,
Please.
how do you deal with clients that have purchased an original that don't want reproductions of that original?
Oh, it happens. It happens so infrequently. It's unbelievable. It almost happens never. And so that's number one. Number two, if they're a good customer, you say, no problem. I'll never reproduce it. If there's someone that's brand new, say, well, I don't normally do that. I retain all the rights to reproduce, but if you wanted to do a buyout, I can give you another price for that.
Cool.
Case by case basis, though. Only if it's a collector do I give that away for free, right? Like if it's a good collector that's bought like 6 or 7 pieces, you're like, hey, no problem. But you know, the reality is that most of the time, art does not appreciate. Okay, the number is really, really grim on that, and I hate to say it. Like when I say 0.1% of art in the world appreciates, maybe like everything else that's created just doesn't, and it doesn't hurt them at all. If anything, like, you know, if there's a whole bunch of prints of an image and it becomes really, really popular, and you own the original, what do you think that's going to do, right? Like, you know. So, but anyway, it doesn't come up that frequently. That's what I would say.
Cool.
Thanks. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, no problem. Lane, you're up. And you'll need, yeah, good, gotcha.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, all good.
I have a couple of questions.
Please.
So can I just throw the questions out and then you can pick which to do?
Yeah, I'll do them all. Go ahead.
Okay. So can we use our own labs for some of the work?
100%.
Okay. Emails. I have been doing shows and have collected hundreds of emails, which I have not put into any system. So what do I do? Do I type those into your email? What program do you use?
Yeah, we have an in-house one that's like, first of all, we're in a transitionary period where we're slowly becoming an email service provider on top of everything else. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole on that, but you would just put them all in a spreadsheet, upload them to us, and then we have a lot of customers that still use MailChimp, and we have an API connection with MailChimp, so MailChimp just moves it across between the two of them. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Funnels. Do you teach us how to do funnels?
Yeah, not like in the traditional sense. Funnels have gotten like so much baggage, and like, you know, it's been marketed as like a cure-all savior, a funnel. Like, okay, a funnel. Everyone's had a funnel their entire lives. I come and I meet you at a show and you're displaying. I meet you for the first time. I figure out a way to come see you again. Then I come and see you again, and then I give you my email address, and then I come to a booth a third time, and then you invite me to a show. Okay, that's your funnel, right? That's what your funnel look like. So we teach you so many advanced techniques. It's sort of out of control. I don't necessarily like it all being, you know, bundled into a funnel, but yes, technically we do.
Okay. Is there a limit to how many pieces we can upload, and are they high res that you're taking?
No. Yes, they're high res that we're taking, but it's not high res that we're displaying. Because we do the reproduction or do a lot of the reproduction, you want to send the proper high res image so that the printer has it available. And even in your case, like, you know, you've got a printer that you're using and you're really happy with, which is fine. We don't care. But I don't want you wasting the time driving to the printer or sending emails to the printer or going looking at proofs at the printer or sending the tracking numbers to your customers. I want all of it done automatically when you want it to be. So what we do is we take the high res image. That's what we send to the printer when a reproduction needs to happen. And then we dumb that image down significantly and display that on the web. So, you know, no one can get a hold of your images, or certainly not at any other resolution than normal internet images.
Cool. Nice. And then I have just 2 more quickies.
Please.
I noticed that you guys don't display a whole web of artists. It's all just individual websites. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly right. It just doesn't work. The marketplaces don't work. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, the ones that have been established for a long, long time do okay. You know, like Etsy does well. Very few artists do well on Etsy, but some do. Fine Art America does great because they own SEO. A very small amount of artists do okay in Fine Art America. Not really, though. Saatchi does okay. A very small number of artists do okay on Saatchi. And like the reality is that everyone thinks that I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I need some art. I need a landscape photo. And they go to Google and they're like, landscape photo. And then they see a bunch of landscape photos and you're like, I want that one, and I buy it. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but it happens 1 out of 100 times. What really happens is art sales are 50-50, okay? They're 50% the art, the caliber of the art, your subject matter material, how good you are with the brush, all of that. But the other 50% is who are you? What makes you tick? What makes you interesting? What do I have shared in common with you? Why does your creative eye the way that it is? And then I get bonded to you. And it's why, like, you can't just buy a list of, like, collectors from anywhere, because they have to get bonded with you, and that takes time. So, yeah, we do the individual route. We don't do the marketplace route. Certainly not right now anyway. But, yeah.
Okay, so if I want to go to a designer, I'll have to go directly to them. They can't go type in, like, I'm looking for a scenic.
Yeah, but in my experience, that's just not how it happens. Like, you know, I get people all the time that are like, yeah, I just want to market exclusively designers, and I'm like, okay, great. Here's the battle plan to market to designers. Go on to House every day. House is the social network for designers, and send 50 messages a day for a year. Okay, build relationships with all those people uniquely and individually, and don't worry about the other 55 messages they get from furniture manufacturers and rug manufacturers and decor and wallpaper and fixtures and right? No one wants to do the hard work ever. How it normally works is, if you really want to actually target designers, you do a very good job of marketing on the socials. They follow you because they love your art, and then they call you and want to buy it for projects. Now, our site does some really things that help interior designers filter by color, and so they can apply a bunch of different filters and try to match what they're doing inside of your house, inside of the house that they're decorating or whatever. But yeah, that's what I would say in terms of designers.
Cool. Last question, and most important.
Please.
If I sign up today, can I get going before Black Friday, and how much is it going to cost me?
So you could, I think, do we know the answer to that question, Juan? Are we still in 11 days or less? If you had all of your ducks in a row, like, seriously, because we build the website for you, right? We don't let you do it because we think it's a waste of your time. So if you had all of your images, okay, in a folder, and you're like, Patrick, here they are, here's the descriptions, I'm ready to go. Yes, I think you could probably be up by Black Friday, but you would have to go, crazy speed to get it all done, and you would need to not stress about things, right? Like, you essentially have to get a Stripe account, okay? Because everybody owns their own business with us, right? So, you sign up for Stripe. I think it takes 24 hours for them to approve you. That connects to your bank account. That connects to our storefronts. So when an order comes in, if it's an original, you get paid. If it's a print, you get paid. The printer gets paid. The printer can do all of that. So Stripe account needs to be done. Then if you have all the work ready to go and all of the descriptions ready to go, yes, I think you can get it by then. That's what I think. And how much does it all cost? It depends on which plan you pick. The way that we do things is, yes, we have a monthly fee like every other website provider out there, but the other part is you pay a one-time fee to get into the university. And once you pay that, you don't ever pay it again, and that goes towards the army of folks that are going to be supporting you in the rest of your art selling life. All the weekly classes, all the education sessions, everyone that's going to fix your thing when it breaks, anytime you get into a Zoom session. So that's what it goes to pay for. And what is our range of plans now? Juan, do you even know off the top of your head? Probably better than I am.
Not really.
Andrew, what do we cost? What is
way
our
better,
lowest?
Way better in a demo.
Yeah. Every time I open my mouth, it's like, well, they've changed things.
I think it's between 15 and 35 for the startup, the one-time fee.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's what I would say. But even if you don't get up with us, don't let Black Friday be the sole thing that makes you or breaks you, because once Black Friday is gone, the beginning of the year is very, very important. Even the run up to Christmas is very, very important. Like January and February are actually pretty decent art selling months too. You just got to get started, even if it's not with us. Like, everyone is like, I'll just get started when, and then nothing ever happens, and the weeks turn into months, turn into years. How's that art business going? So even if you don't get started with us, get started, right?
That's
Good
why I
stuff.
need a deadline, and I've set it for Black Friday.
Good.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll go Yusra, then Isabel. Go ahead, Yusra.
Hi,
Hi.
thank you. So you mentioned the one-time fee is for the university.
That's the
What
way.
if
That's the way to think about it, right? And there's a whole army of people that are going to support you for the rest of your life, and it's like you get a website anywhere else, and it's like, thanks for signing up, Yusra. Here's your site. Good luck, right? With us, it's just getting started after the website's up. Like every single solitary week, you're attending various different things. We're teaching you various different things. We give you a calendar, tells you what to do 365 days a year. 5 days a week, you can jump into a Zoom session with someone and get something answered on your website. You know, they can take control of your screen, all of that. We have a private Facebook group that we monitor that all of our members are in. We have so many resources internally. It's absolutely staggering, and you will never be alone, ever. For the rest of your art selling, there's no searching forums. There's no trying to figure out how to turn on plugins or reading about JavaScript or CSS or HTML, which would be a huge, waste of time for anyone. What do you do in the background, by the way? I feel like you got the whole thing set up. You got your plant game on. You got the camera on the tripod. I like it.
Yeah, I only have one painting, and I started 3 days ago.
Good for you. Good for you.
But yeah, so the one thing that you would, well, not the one thing, but the one tangible thing I would say that you will provide is the website and then the knowledge throughout the university. So
yeah, it's
you
just
will tell me
nonstop
how
teaching.
to do the marketing, but
Yeah.
you're not going to do the marketing for me.
Correct. Now
Okay.
we do have a new service that we launched that does some of it for you, but yes, you still need to learn how to do the marketing. And so,
Okay.
we teach it all year long, how to do absolutely every show, tell, individual sessions, can ask questions and answers. Like, it's the only thing that matters. I'm telling you right now, the only thing that matters, because you can get a website absolutely anywhere. You can set it up tomorrow, and then you're on your damn own. And unless you're someone that's like really, really diligent about learning and going to YouTube and studying all this stuff nonstop, then it's really hard to get there. I found that like the community and the mentorship, and the mild harassment, which you'll sometimes get, bribery, everything that it takes for us to throw at the wall to keep people moving and not quitting. That's it. And that's like that's being an entrepreneur. Like, it's a damn lonely road to hoe,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was my question. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Yusuf. Okay, next up is Isabel. Go ahead, Isabel.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me well.
I sure can.
Okay, I'm sick, so I can't talk too much.
Oh, I'm
Maybe
sorry.
understand that. In the pandemic, I started like doing digital paintings.
Okay.
Because I was inspired by a guy called Michael Brown from Tampa Bay. I don't know if you heard about him.
Okay.
He sells in in the on the expositions, how you call it. And I talked to him, and he told me one of the information was you guys. I talked to him yesterday because I started like I have to. Unfortunately, I have to leave my city and everything. My son needs me, so I have to move from Miami to Virginia to help him.
Okay.
And I have to leave my job. And I was thinking if I could start doing something, because I have like 200 paintings in digital, and I started graphic design when I was young, but I didn't know what to do with them. So now the question is, and honestly, for me, it's very hard to do the Instagram. I will have to do it.
Yeah.
But in the case that you do the website, you don't sell them, right? You don't sell them, so.
Yeah, no, we don't sell the work for you, but we teach you how to do all that stuff. And the website helps sell some of it for you, right? Because they can look at it, they can look at the art on the wall, they can decide if they like it, they can purchase all of it, right? But you still have to do the marketing ahead of it.
How does the people see the website?
We teach you how to drive traffic to it all year long.
Okay, and is something special like having the digital one?
No, that's no problem. The biggest problem that artists do, and it's primarily photographers, but a whole lot of digital artists too, is like, even if you make digital art, you have to be able to show off something like this. Okay? Nobody buys a JPEG. Nobody buys a JPEG. They buy something that's real, that they can see, that's 3-dimension. And where everyone goes wrong, and it's hard, right, is you can't think that your consumers like me have the same power of visualization that you do. I can't look at that 2-dimensional image in your Instagram profile or a screen and envision what it's going to look like on my wall. They need to see it. They need to see that it's a real product. And so you just have to get some of them printed out so that you can actually effectively market them. Does that make sense? You can merchandise and show them off. And like photographers break this rule all the time. They're like, well, I put all my pictures up there. It's like, well, where's the one that you're holding in your hand? Because then it's not real. Nobody staples a digital image to their wall, right? So yeah, that's how we approach that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I hope you feel better, Isabel.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay, next up, Virginia. Go ahead, Virginia. You'll just need to unmute, mic icon. Bottom left-hand corner down there somewhere, usually. One simple click usually does it. It's hiding there somewhere, Virginia. Okay, I'll let you keep going until you can find it. Yeah, Christian, you could if you wanted to. Like, you don't necessarily have to be on our website platform if you don't want to, but you're going to get all of it anyway. You'll end up moving over regardless, because whatever you're on now is not going to be doing the same job that ours does. We get a bunch of people that are like, hey, well, we occasionally get like photographers that have like big commercial components of their business. And so sometimes they will leave their normal website where it is and then do like a, shop dot, right? So put it on a subdomain. But the website solution is really advanced for doing what it does. You definitely want it, right? That's what I would say. So, okay. All right, Virginia, I don't know. You knew what's going on. You're probably looking for the button right now going, I can't find it. It's not unmuted. I know how it is. It can be frustrating sometimes. It happens to all of us. Anyone else? Questions while we wait? Yep. Gotcha, Duchess. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Back to the email question.
Yeah.
God, I hate email. And yeah, I do have a kind of an email list sitting in my MailChimp somewhere. Hate it. I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
What do you do with it?
Well, you have to email it consistently, which I know is annoying a little bit, right?
Super.
Yeah, email as a channel has just been so torched over the years by marketers like myself. So I'm fully to blame among others, but it's the only thing that we actually like legitimately own in today's day and age, right? Like when you think about it, everything else is built on rented land. They can decide that, they want to shut your Instagram account down right now and they don't say a damn thing to you. So to Facebook, right? So you own your website, you own your email address. Yes, even with the crappy open rates that we see in email. So you have to communicate to it on a regular and consistent basis. We obviously teach you how to do that, what to say, what it should look like. But the beautiful thing about email is like, because we're so busy in today's day and age, most people just read subject lines. Sometimes it's just a subtle little, hey, I'm here, I'm creating art, I still exist, right? And then they do see a subject line that they like, and then they end up opening that. So, but we teach you how to do all that, don't worry.
All right, so it's something that I still have to do myself. I can't just hand it to you guys and be like, okay, here's my email list. You can do a marketing campaign.
We can do some of it, not all of it, right?
Okay.
So we recently created and launched it in March. A system that we're calling Copilot, and essentially the way that it works is because we have your website and all of your images, because we have all of your email addresses, because we can control your website, we then connect to your Instagram account and connect to your Facebook account. And what we can do is we can do some of the marketing for you. Okay. What do I mean by some of the marketing? We can do all the stuff that's image based. We can run the sales, set the coupon codes, send emails, and do all of that. What we can't do though is the marketing that only you can do, which is What makes the Duchess Lakin tick? Okay. Why is she interesting? Is she a dog person or a cat person? Does she like gardening? What part of this country? You know, people get bonded on that stuff, and that's got to be you. And there's no one else that can do that but you.
Okay. All right. Got it.
I feel like I just got a firm maybe out of the Duchess on that one.
No. Yeah. I'm trying very hard to accept email.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right. And Andrew, I finally had to put Douglas in the waiting room. I don't know if you saw that. I think like he just keeps asking those questions. It drives me nuts. Sometimes you just can't do that. Where was I going with all that? I'm gonna send you guys a replay. It's gonna have all the bells, all the whistles, all the thises, all the that's. Yeah, Freddie, I got you. Don't worry. Let me just finish my thing, Freddie, and then you can answer your follow up. So it's gonna have literally all like of the articles that I talked about that are very, very important that you're probably gonna want to read, follow up with. There's gonna be some good videos on there. I also have a podcast that's free. It's really good. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's called the Art Marketing Podcast. I'll send you a link to that. So if to the extent that you guys listen to them, they're it's very, very good. I think you'll enjoy it. We're a little bit over 500,000 downloads. So kicking butt there. So I'm enjoying that. Okay, Freddie, you're back up. Go ahead.
You've made this a very enjoyable Zoom call. Thank you so much for your knowledge and your knowledge.
Oh, awesome.
You're rocking.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the products that you sell if somebody purchases one of the mugs or the handbags or whatever it is?
Yeah. So I personally think, like, you know, I'm almost 45 years old, coming up in a few months. Don't remind me, I'm getting old. But I find POD to be one of the most significant breakthroughs in history for you guys as artists. What does POD stand for? Print on demand. It means zero minimums, no holding inventory. You know, order comes in, you get paid, printer gets paid, printer prints it, printer ships it, boom, amazing, right? Now, the originals, you're on your own. You know, you have to warehouse those because you create those. But prior to having print on demand, like, it was minimums, it was lithography, it was expensive, it was storage, it was like a huge headache, right? So that's been with us in the print world for like 10 years. Now it's longer than that even. Now it's becoming a reality in the merch world as well, where it just wasn't before, which is pretty amazing. So we're partnered with one huge merch company that does all of it, which is called Guten. You can check them out on their website. Everything from mugs to yoga mats to tote bags to calendars to photo books to greeting cards to puzzles to throw pillows. There's all kinds of stuff in there. For me, I don't care what you do in terms of merch. We make it very, very easy. Some people are like, I only want to do this, and other people are like, I only want to do that. I don't care. I am a dyed-in-the-wool hardcore marketer. I know if I get you acquiring 200 customers a year instead of your 10, and I take you 10 years that way, you are going to have a whole heck of a lot more collectors. And in addition to that, if one of these potential people that you sell the merch to, no one makes any money on merch. It is literally just a customer acquisition strategy. That's it, unless you're selling at volume. But if you get a couple of your works on a coffee cup that someone starts having coffee with once a week for the next 3 years, who are they going to when they actually need art? You, because they've been looking at it every single solitary morning with the ceremony as enjoyable as having that little personal fireplace in your hand, which is a cup of coffee. So, like, those are the rules. I don't care where anyone gets it, right? But it, like, infuriates me because so many artists push back against that. And I'm like, you guys, you are a business. It is the number of customers that you acquire. You cannot walk away from this. You don't understand how fundamentally this is important this is, right? So it doesn't matter to me which ones you pick, which ones you don't, as long as you have them, as long as you have something that can be a low commitment impulse buy. I like you. I like what you're doing. I'm going to purchase this, right? And I tell this story. I had a customer approach me 3 weeks ago, and they had a sale on the line for, like, you know, between low six figures, but a big sale. Okay. Low six figures. And I asked him first thing, I was like, hey, how did they find you? And he's like, they bought a book from me 3 years ago. 3 years ago, nothing between, and now he's gonna land 1 6-figure sale. My position is that sale would not have happened if they didn't buy the book, because they wouldn't have remembered you. And those are just a mass. So that's the game we like to play. All right. Thank you very much, Freddie. Yeah, Elaine's saying, like, do all of your websites look the same, or do we have different themes? We have different themes, but all artists end up completely screwing up how they build their websites when they build them on their own, because you guys are artists and you can't help yourself, okay? We're not reinventing the wheel here, you guys. We are just taking the paradigm that has existed for hundreds of years, and we are trying to duplicate it online. What is the paradigm for how art photography is sold and or viewed? Think a museum, think a gallery. What do they all have in common? They all look the same, don't they? Plain white walls, art lit up, and nothing else. Because it's supposed to draw all of your attention just to the art and nothing else. And yet I come to these websites that you guys make on your own, and there's colors and goofy fonts and things flying around on slideshows that it would be a miracle if anyone saw the art in the first place. Okay? It is not a reflection upon how you aesthetically look at things, your website, for God's sakes. We are trying to duplicate the known paradigm for how people buy art and photography. They all understand that. It is in an art gallery. It is in a museum. And there is a reason that they are all minimalist. And it infuriates me because I look at your websites and it's like the goofy stuff that's all over the place. I mean, no wonder your conversion rates are horrible, okay? So obviously get fired up on that one. So yes, there are different themes and they are all simple. And I don't want you touching it, okay? Because we know better. It's supposed to look like a museum. Let all of the attention go to the one thing that matters. All right, I'm done with that rant. Okay. Hope you guys learned some stuff. Really appreciate you spending some time with me on a Monday. I'm going to send you the replay stuff. It will be in there. All the bells, all the whistles, all the things, all that. My colleague, if you guys are interested in learning more, great opportunity to get in because we have a huge sale and the month is coming to an end. So you can find out about that, about requesting a demo. And what else? Am I forgetting about anything else? There's demo buttons in here in the chat, all over our website, all over the place. L Lane is asking about art storefronts for Shopify. Shopify, you're on your own. Shopify, the minute you sign up, you get your website up, you're on your own. You're on your own to maintain it. You're on your own to turn on all the plugins. You're on your own to figure out how to marketing. You're on your own how to do everything else. In 2021, Shopify had a stat. This perfectly sums it up. Shopify had a stat. What do you think the average store lasted that signed up in 2021 on Shopify? Less than 5 months. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's their software? Their software is awesome. I love Shopify. What a fantastic product. We actually use it internally for something. But the reason that all of those people failed is because none of them solved the marketing problem, which is the only problem you guys have. The website is a damn commodity. It just is. So you go to Shopify, you're on your own, lots of luck. You sign up with us, you're going to see me screaming at you on a usually a weekly, bi-weekly basis. And so that's it. That's it. And the rest of my colleagues as well. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes to keep going and keep learning and keep getting better every single solitary day. And anyone that's done it for any period of time on their own, they know because they've treated their marketing like the New Year's resolution, right? Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So we do everything that we can to combat that. Great session today, guys. Hope you learned some cool stuff. Appreciate all of you. Follow-up email is coming. Thank you, Andrea. I like seeing you laugh at my screaming too. Feel better. Okay. Isabel, feel better. And thanks, guys. See you in a future session.